Hi, everyone, and welcome to my newsletter. I'm coming to you from a different perspective today with the wonderful Paris behind me. I've been a little bit absent from social media and my newsletter simply because I've had a couple of cataract operations, which has restored my eyesight to something quite miraculous, at which I haven't had this kind of eyesight since a young woman. And in between times, I have fallen and broken my ankle and have broken my arm as well. You see the compression bandage just to help support my hand. So it's been June has been a real month of sort of discovering one, my pain threshold, two, my tolerance to boredom, and finding ways to entertain myself, which are both holistic, therapeutic, and interesting. So, art has been my main focus while I've been getting myself into a place or a stage where I can actually have a conversation like we're having today. So June was all about seeing life through a different lens, looking at things quite differently, not just on this physical level, but obviously having to adapt strategies, find new ways of coping, both for myself and Michael. But we then moved into July, and July was definitely a month wrapped around coincidences. And quite often, I'll sort of question the universe when someone's name will pop into my head. And I do question, do I send a thought out to that person and suddenly they make contact? Or are they thinking about me and I then receive that message and then they make contact? I can never quite figure out how that works in the universe. But coincidences have been really a big thing in July. And the aspect of coincidences, as explored by Carl Jung, is that process of seeing repeat patterns or noticing things that have a significant meaning to you. So when we're prompted by seeing something repeatedly, repeat patterns, that then has a significance. And of course, angel numbers, we've got the Lion's Gate coming up, the 8th of the 8th, the 8th of August. 2026, of course, 26 is a number eight, although it's a 10 year. So, we've got all of those sort of significant things that happen to us. July was definitely one of those months where things just seem to happen. Um, Things that you would think about, then it would happen. And it's almost like the universe was listening, actually hearing what we were asking for, hearing what was on our mind, and then responding with a sign, a signal, or information just appearing that we then were able to link into. And it's been a really fascinating month. I think more because I've been at home, unable to drive, um, unable to get out of the house. So it's I've had time to sort of look at how I think and what I think about and where those thoughts come from. I think that psychologically, when it comes to synchronicities, it is about our minds becoming really good at noticing patterns, noticing significant information. When we put that thought out there, it was sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy, and we pull it closer to us. On a spiritual view, we tend to see synchronicities as signs or guidance or evidence of a deeper connection in our lives. So that's where we think, oh, the universe is listening. It is helping support what I'm doing. The scientific view, however, is just that these things just naturally occur. And we're just mindful. Once we start to notice things, then we become more mindful of these synchronicities when things line up together and we see that pattern happening. I think that the key thing to remember, excuse me, is that meaningful experiences, when we follow those breadcrumbs, when we have a thought and we get an answer, then we have another thought, then we get another answer, and on it rolls, I think we feel that wonderful sense of feeling supported, of being heard, of having guidance. It's really relevant to us. Whether other people believe it or don't believe it, that's not really important. It's important for you if you've had a month during July where synchronizations seem to be sort of an ongoing pattern, then it's looking at what those patterns were and how they progressed you on your path. How did that get you further down the line? I think the good thing to ask yourself, I've got some questions here. I'll just get my piece of paper, just in sight of the eye there. So I want you to think about, and again, this is the Carl Jung work in terms of psychology and how our minds process information. When we have a synchronicity, some of the tools to explore is, what does this coincidence symbolize to you? So when we see these repeating patterns, whether it's numbers, so yesterday for me was definitely 111, 222, 333. It would just seem to occur all of the time. And I've done a whole range of meditations on those triple numbers, angel numbers, because the definitions are really interesting and you can meditate with them. But for me, it was a passing of time and what had occurred between those times. So that was what really symbolized it for me. That's what I took that as. And why is it meaningful? What aspect of your life is it drawing attention to? I think for me, the passing of time, being at home before my operation for my eyes, and then being stuck at home again because of my accident, the passing of time can feel really, really slow. And yet other times, other days, I'm occupied with my art therapy, that passing of time, it just sort of flows past and suddenly the end of the day is here. And it's been a really strong meditative space for me to have been in, to just distract my mind from what my physical body is going through. On a spiritual or a new age aspect, we tend to see coincidences and synchronicities as a response to a question that we've asked. We see it as guidance. And I had a lovely visitor in my convalescence just the other week. Just wanted to come and say hello and see how I was doing. And we just got into this huge conversation about spirituality and about the church and about angels and about, programmed religion to more a spiritual aspect. And I think that for the spiritual world, the new age community, if you will, we see coincidence as signs that we're aligned to what we should be doing or where we should be going. We see it as an alignment of energy between us and the universe. So we've been manifesting or asking for guidance, and then we get this symbol or this sign that sort of flutters in, and we go, "Oh, so we've been heard." And I think there's there's a wonderful way, there's a balance there between seeing synchronicities as just a pattern that your mind has suddenly clicked into, seeing the world around you as a pattern with repeat patterns showing up, or as well as the new age aspect, if you will, where we have been asking for help or asking for a sign that we are being supported, we're not alone. And then we'll see that butterfly or we'll see that number or something will pop up on our digital screen, even though we know that our voices are being heard. I've got no doubt that I'm recording this on my laptop, and I'm sure Cyril will flood my Facebook page with lots of things about synchronicity and Carl Jung. But that's just the process. But there might be something in all of that information that those bots will flood my social media with that I can take to a space that that can be really productive. And it's really interesting. My camera just moved there, and I can show you my hands are nowhere near the camera or the mouse. So I'm going to say that the universe is listening and someone is playing with the camera and they just shifted the angle quite deliberately there. So that's not only spooky, but it's just really lovely. What I will say in terms of coincidences, I had my second cataract surgery in July the 3rd. And for the operation, you're completely awake while it's all happening, soft music in the background. Professor Wilson was in doing his stuff on my right eye. And once he took the cover off, he said, "That's it, Mrs. Brown. You've been a wonderful patient. Thank you for assisting in this surgery today." And he said, "I'm sure everything will be really wonderful. And you should move forward from today's surgery in full health." And I said, I'm sure I will, Mr. Wilson, because what has just come on, the music that's come on in the operating theatre is "I Can See Clearly Now." The rain has gone, and everyone in the theatre stopped. They all tuned into the song. They could hear the song, "I Can See Clearly Now, the rain has gone." And just the roaring of laughter and the joy. And even one of the younger theatre assistants, one of the nurses, "Oh my gosh, that is so creepy. That's really creepy." I didn't see it was creepy because I did ask for spiritual help before my operation. And I just saw that this was a sign. I personally took that as a sign that this was the last operation and that my eyesight would be fine, which it has been. So we get signs and symbols across all aspects of our life. And I think that's just something just to be aware of. Just something as simple as a song coming on. It just so typified what was the change that had occurred in my physical body was in that song. It was really I thought it was a special moment, not a creepy moment. And yes, we giggled. I'd love to say everybody giggled. So Lionsgate is coming up the 8th of August, and all my meditations are at half price. Just use the discount code in basket. When you pop onto my website, you'll see it comes up. It's a pop-up just as soon as you land on the website. 888 or 88. So there's two that you can choose from. 88 tends to be the Lionsgate, so that's just a double eight. And Lionsgate is when the veils are really thin between the two worlds. It's when there's a portal, an opportunity to go into meditation that will give you that transformational energy that you're looking for. And I feel we're all transiting, the Northern Hemisphere, you've come through your summer solstice. We're heading through into our springtime. We've come through our winter solstice. So we're transitioning into a time of growth, a time of transformation as we move out of transition and move into a time of creation and of actually being in a space where we feel we should be. The Lion's Gate, the Lion's Roar is a wonderful space to think about and to be part of. Bring in the energy of the double eight, bring in the energy of the lion, that courage, that sense of strength, that sense of pride, not pride as an ego, but being part of a group. Lions do tend to pride together. So look at your friendships, look at who you have around you at this point in time. Do they serve you in any way? positively or negatively and make some changes if you feel you need to. I definitely have been thinking about who I am and what I really love doing. So teaching is definitely come back to the fore in my time of being confined. And it's really wonderful to see people inquiring about the Reiki Master teacher and what that sort of involves and how they can progress their own life through transitioning from offering Reiki to now teaching Reiki. So it's really wonderful in the coming months, once I'm fully healed, to be starting an apprenticeship with a wonderful young soul and then launching into my new endeavor as a theta teacher, teaching basic theta, and just helping someone take control of their own consciousness, their own patterns, their own sense of well-being. So teaching will definitely be a stronger part, physical teaching, whether it's online live classes or whether it is physical classes here in my home. We'll definitely get back into that from sort of mid-September. Hope to definitely be walking by then and not be scooting around the house on my knee scooter, which has been a great help. But yes, I am keen to stand on my own 2 feet now, which will be really lovely. So I hope my ramblings for June and July have made sense to you. Hope it's something that you can think about. And when you do see some synchronicities, ask yourself those questions. What does this mean to me? How meaningful, in what way is it meaningful, and how does it progress my life? I think if we take that sort of Carl Jung approach, it would be interesting to see if you're not only seeing the synchronicities, but actually moving your life forward through putting some action into those synchronicities that are happening. So it's a joy to be with you. I'll see you at the end of August, beginning of September. Until then, stay safe and stay warm. Bye for now.